This is the Asus ROG Ally, and potentially this could replace most of the devices that we use on a daily basis. So let's put it to the test versus a PS5 for stationary gaming, Nintendo Switch for portable gaming, laptop for video editing and productivity, and overall daily usage. Okay, so as you can see, we are on the Warzone, we're in Full HD 60 frames per second, and to be honest, I definitely feel a difference compared to playing on PS5 in 4K 120 frames per second. And yes, I feel like it's playable, I guess. Definitely feels like there's some kind of input delay, but that could be because of the setup with this big TV. So I'm gonna do one more thing. I'm actually gonna go and put it on a smaller TV. Just watch. Ta-da, we have it right now on here, and you probably can't see, but now it doesn't seem to have any delay, and it just, with this controller, even on the screen with, I guess, at least 60 frames per second. I'm sorry if it's loud, but it's perfect. It's perfect on a little screen. But I have one more thing I would like to test. What if we put it on this display? So now it seems to be much better. No input delay from what I can see, and it does feel like playing on a, doesn't seem to be as much of a input delay, seems to be all perfectly fine now. So if I was playing on a screen like this, which is like a, I would say maybe 20 something inch display that is full HD 60 frames per second, I'm sure you could definitely play like this instead of playing on a big TV. And I think this is where this device kind of goes a little bit more into the, this is a PC, this is not a PS5. PS5 is made to just work with a bigger TV and a 4K and 120 frames per second optimized for it. And you definitely see all the details still. You can definitely play. Maybe it's not the most competitive playing if you're playing like this. And I would never not play on a bigger screen like this with the PS5, with the 4K, 120 frames, potentially 120 frames per second, HDR, everything enabled. But as you can see, for games like this, with the Batman Arkham Asylum, you can pretty much run in Full HD 60 frames per second, no problems whatsoever. So it's really nice if you want to play some games that are more, single player focus based, or especially the older games. Literally play the older games as a, a home console. So that is a possibility. What about editing on the Asus ROG Ally? What if I could edit a short for YouTube about the ROG Ally on the ROG Ally? And first off, I thought I would use the external monitor again so that I have a proper setup. But I thought, why not use the display here and see how it would work if I wanted to use just this? Because on camera it might look small, but in reality, it is small. But it just seems like it could possibly go right. I could possibly do a short on this. But you would say, how would I edit? Well, a wireless mouse is on, a hard drive to the back, and last but not least, this keyboard, a USB keyboard. Let's see how we can set it up and have fun editing while on this device. If we look here, we have the mouse, wireless mouse, we have the screen, and we have the keyboard. But the thing is, we're gonna see if that can actually hold true. I'm not gonna lie, so far, this seems like an experience that, first off, is making me smile, it's really fun. It's like a miniature of what I would see on the laptop, but it's working smoothly. I'm not even joking, I thought it's gonna be horrible on this small screen, but to be honest, I have no problems whatsoever. And now all we need is a good music, so let's go online. We are kind of web browsing, so this already answers our question if we can use it as a, productivity tool. You can put it with a bigger screen to make it work better. Yes, you can, but I feel like this just makes so much sense. Like a pinch, you're on a trip, you want to do something really quickly. This looks fine. Like, to be honest, sitting this close, it just looks fine. But let's pick some music and do a short right now and see how this works. We're on Epidemic Sound. I already have something saved for this. I think I wanted to use this. Those speakers are so good. If you're watching this short later on, please tell me if you noticed that this was made on this device, because I am sure many will not know that this was made on an Asus ROG Ally. The display is definitely small, so normally I think I would have to use a bigger display because it's just less convenient. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm having fun. I'm totally having fun. I know it's not something I would do every day, but if I was to be somewhere and I didn't have my laptop with me, this would work. And to be honest, I'm astonished how well it just runs, because it seems like it's not even breaking a sweat. Can we talk about how I made a world's first short about Asus ROG Ally on the Asus ROG Ally, about the Asus ROG Ally? So let's give this one a good sign. It can be done. I would just put a bigger screen because editing on this was fun, but it's not something I would do every day, maybe in a pinch or an airplane. But to be honest, get a bigger screen and this can actually be usable as a editing station. And because it's a given is a PC, you can use it as a PC for, you know, whatever else you're gonna do. But what about now comparing it to the Nintendo Switch as a handheld device? Because this is what we think about as a handheld device, but what about this? What does actually work as a handheld device? So what about gaming like this? You're on your bed, whether laying, sitting, maybe on a couch, and you just want to play in a handheld, you know, and you have the choice between a Nintendo Switch and an Asus ROG Ally. Well, the thing here is like a different compromise. If you're sitting like this, I would take this. I would take the Asus ROG Ally. You can play all the new games, AAA games, right here, and with the 25 watt mode, when we put it on 25 watts on the turbo, we can pretty much play any game we want to, even something like a Warzone. And on this size of the screen, you're not gonna see any difference because all the details that you lose are kind of lost in the smaller screen. But let's say we want to play something older like Batman Arkham Knight or Arkham Asylum. Well, on a screen like this, it's perfect. You can play in full HD, 60 frames per second. And while this turns on, this is the caveat that I had about this device, it does take a little bit longer to load something up. And then we have the Nintendo Switch. It's much lighter, much more, you know, faster. You just turn it on, and we're on. Now, all we have to do is I even have a game playing already in the background. And as you can see, and as you can hear, we are already in Fire Emblem Engage. As you can see, we're playing already 720p OLED display, 60 frames per second, and with the grips that I have, the Skull & Co, really comfortable to use even like this, or when you're laying, you can really grip it nicely. But if you don't have the grips, it's gonna be a much smaller tablet kind of experience. I'm gonna try to, that's what I meant to do. And I did not mean to do that one too. So as you can see, just the Nintendo Switch, and to be honest, in like a form factor without the grip, it's much smaller. This size of a device to play all the modern games, and the screen is pretty big compared to like the size of it. But I'll be honest, I kind of like how the Joy-Cons aren't like, you know, stiff. They kind of move a little bit. So yeah, it's certainly a different kind of a gaming experience. I would say it's much more lighter, and the screen to body ratio seems bigger. Same thing with the controller, it's smaller. Big screen, small controllers, and ergonomics are okay, I guess, for such a lightweight, you know, small setup. Because it's so lightweight, you don't really feel it in your hand. So it's really nice for longer play sessions. And the screen is very nice. OLED displays are always so nice. It's certainly bigger than this. Well, I would say the experience is pretty close by. It's heavier, it's bigger. I would say this feels like it's the Nintendo Switch Pro compared to the Nintendo Switch OLED, because of the way the grips are built in with the extra buttons on the back, proper triggers. It feels like playing a proper controller and proper games, where this, I feel like it's a handheld. I definitely feel like it's more like something like a fun little tablet, handheld Game Boy. But I would say that, you know, playing proper games on this just feels so good, you know, like laying in the bed, like before going to sleep, I love to, you know, play a little bit of Batman or something, whatever I'm playing at the moment. But I would say there's one thing that I kind of think is a caveat here. This will be much less energy efficient than this. And while this only has smaller games, well, those smaller games, because they're smaller games and they're not as strong, they don't take as much energy, so you can play it for much longer. While this, I'll be honest, well, this burns through battery so quickly. There is something so cool about playing huge games like Assassin's Creed Valhalla on this thing. Just something so cool seeing Warzone working on this thing, you know, playing full AAA games, even older games, indie games, everything running on this. I guess the biggest takeaway is this will have more battery for longer PlayStations, but you have to sacrifice on quality of the games in terms of like the graphical quality. Everything looks very nice here, but for example, Fortnite is gonna be like 35, 40 frames per second, if even that, with a very low resolution, where this you can run in like probably full HD 60 frames per second stable, even more. But it can actually replace a handheld in a way, because this is a handheld. In my opinion, it is a beautiful device, and it's a kind of like a jack of all trades. It can do pretty much everything, but it's not going to be better than that specific thing in that specific scenario. It's not going to be as strong as a PS5 for gaming, but then again, you can take it with you anywhere. It's not going to be as long battery as a Nintendo Switch, but it can actually play AAA games. A laptop will be easier and faster to use, but this can also do the work. You want to edit a video on a laptop? Well, you can do it also on the Asus ROG Ally. It's just going to be less convenient and maybe a little less powerful than a stronger PC. My verdict is simple. This is a jack of all trades, a master of none, but better than one. It won't be better than other devices in their own separate department, but it's so versatile and you can do so much on this single device. And with that being said, that's gonna be it for today's video. I hope you guys learned something new today. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video once again, and I'll see you next time.